Hey there everyone, Undercover Cheeseburger here, and today I'm playing a unique little game called Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman, for the PlayStation 1. Now let me ask you, do you like cowboys? Do you like samurais? Well, if you like me and like both, then this is the game for you. Story follows Johnny, a cowboy in the Old West, where after a confrontation with a samurai named Loki, he was left half dead. That's right, Loki, not Loki. He was then saved by Suzuki, a friend of his late father. Suzuki comes from a place called Zapang. Johnny then asks to learn Zapang's legendary fighting technique. Suzuki agrees to teach Johnny. They depart for Zapang, and after years of training, Johnny is now a master of his own traditional style and the technique of Zapang. With these skills, he wields both the blade of the samurai and the gun of his late father. He now goes under the new name Zan, as he returns to his hometown for vengeance. I decided to start off with a tutorial to understand the controls, obviously. We'll learn some basic movement controls as well as some attacks we can utilize throughout the game, although it's also very apparent that the PlayStation 1 is holding this game back, as the only way for us to control the camera is to hold the L1 button, the same button that when tapped once will initiate the lock-on. Later on, this will cause some frustrations as locking on doesn't lock the camera to our target. Now, it's worth mentioning that this is because originally the PlayStation 1 didn't have dual analog sticks until much later on. Therefore, many games didn't use them, but even with that in mind, it still means the combat takes some time to get used to. We then go through the tutorial and end up taking on some wooden enemies to practice what we learnt. At the end of the tutorial, we must face off against a wooden boss using what we learned, and clearly I wasn't paying attention. Once beating the boss, we are shown the first of many, and I fucking mean many, button mashing sequences, because you see at the end of every major boss, we must mash every button as much as we can to increase the time we have to beat up said boss in another button mashing sequence, where we must only mash the X and O buttons to get as much points as we can for our final score. That's right, at the end of every level, there is a rank. And yes, I'll show you just how bad I was during my initial playthrough. After the tutorial, we then start the game. After the opening cutscene, we are then greeted to Johnny as he is on his way back to his hometown, where we are then shot at by the bartender who doesn't recognize us and believes that we were already dead. We then end up correcting the bartender as he wrongly refers to us as Johnny.
You're Johnny? I thought you'd been killed.
You're the bartender, huh? Hard to recognize you with all those bandages. And by the way, my name isn't Johnny.
It's the super ultra sexy hero, Zan.
Oh my god.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yep, that's right. This is our hero, the super ultra sexy hero Zan. And yes, that's how I'll refer to him from now on. We are then informed the town was attacked and many were killed. Our super ultra sexy hero Zan mentions it was the jackal, then just runs to the town. With super speed? Yeah, it's never really explained. We then make it to the town, where we are met with Goa Goa as he taunts us in the cliche bad guy way by sending his goons after us. At last, our first common enemy. Straw dolls. Yep, that's right. Dolls made out of straw. Obviously, they pose no challenge. We then move onwards and run into some green ninjas, much better than straw I might add, but regardless, they pose no threat to the super ultra sexy hero Zan. Well, they may have a sword, but I have a fucking gun. Oh no, ninjas. Whatever will I do? After that encounter, we shoot some magic wood holding a gate shut, and then make our way past the gate. There's no elaboration here, just go with it. We then find one of the many captured townsfolk being tormented before being spotted and forced to fight more straw dolls while saving him in the process. After dealing with the big scary straw dolls, Goa Goa sends some red ninjas our way, where I proceed to take them out. Then he decides to run away using a cannon to escape. We then hop in a cannon and proceed to follow him. We take out a few enemies and move on, finding Dumb and Dumber powering up a fucking flamethrower, where we are then tasked to take both out while avoiding the flames, or at least trying to. It is here where I discover Hustle Time, an ability where our super ultra sexy hero Zan can move faster. After we take out Tweedledee and Tweedledum, we are then greeted to an invitation for a spanking, and of course I can't decline. But when we enter the church, we fall right into a trap where a giant bomb gets dropped on us. We then must mash every button we can, after which we throw the bomb, revealing the next area. All button action event. I don't know, just push everything. There, I guess I did it right. We then must fight Goa Goa and his gondola. During the boss fight, we need to avoid barrels and deal damage to the boss by shooting him. About halfway, we end up destroying his gondola and must face him on the ground where he decides his best attack is, well, spinning. We take him out and are then greeted to the finishing button mash event. Oh, you got it! 152. We're just gonna tap it as much as we can. Get 1,000, get 1,000. Damn it, we got 927. After all that, I get a D rank. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. We then save some ladies that were captured, one of which being Val, our neighbour. Not like it really matters, most characters don't actually return. We ask her for what information she knows. She then tells us she heard there's a castle in the next town, and that's the end of level 1. So before I continue, I should let you all know that what you just saw is pretty much the main structure of the levels in this game. Turn up somewhere, kill some enemies, take care of a few standout events in between, and then face off with the main boss. With that said, I won't be going into way too much detail concerning the events of each level as it is pretty repetitive. Now, on with the video. The second level opens as we meet the Queen's servant as she gives orders to blow up the clock tower and to annihilate the town. Our super ultra sexy hero Zan shows up to save the day. As she notices us, she ends up sending more straw dolls to stop us from stopping detonator number 6. They're officially called straw men, but dolls is funnier. This level starts off by giving us a 132 second time limit to stop detonator number 6. Seems simple enough, right? Well, not for me apparently. I failed due to running out of time because I thought I had to take care of all the enemies. I then realised I can run past them to just focus on dealing damage to the target. The only problem being that there were a few spots where I must take out enemies to progress. I had a lot more trouble than I should have with these fire-breathing enemies because for some reason I didn't think to just move out of the way and hit them from the side. Not my brightest moment, I'll admit. This was where I noticed my biggest issue with the game. As I stated earlier, the camera doesn't really lock onto enemies, so I just had to hope that I was going where I wanted to and that the enemy was already facing me. After a few tries, I was able to beat detonator number 6, which led to another button mash sequence. Oh gee, isn't this fun? All the buttons, all the buttons, all the buttons! I got another D rank, and after a cutscene of the Queen's servant being annoyed at us, that concludes level 2. The third level starts off with the Queen's servant telling on us to Mr. Sumo, who was not impressed with what we've done so far. After the cutscene, we then must take out 3 one-eyed dog statues shooting fire at us. At least I think they're meant to be dogs, I really don't know. After that, we enter the dojo and after grabbing some items off to the sides, I then must take out some more fearsome straw dolls and save someone from getting titty twisted from some red ninjas. We then do some platforming and move on to a mini boss fight against 2 fat guys with axes. This fight's fairly easy as they both seem to take turns as I kick their fat little asses. This is also where I noticed that when I attack while locked on, then the camera will follow the target. Now, why don't I do this more often, you ask? Well, whenever I get hit, it turns off the lock-on, making this useless against multi-enemy fights. So pretty much everything besides boss fights. We take out the fat twins and proceed onward, where we enter a button mashing sequence against whatever the fuck this is. Son of a bitch, what's that? Oh, button event! No. That's okay, I'm too good anyway. Got him. After that, we can finally get our hands on the Queen's servant as we take her on. During this boss fight, she will summon straw dolls infinitely, and teleport when she takes too much damage. While slightly annoying, she's still weak as piss and will go down fairly quickly if you focus just on her. Now, you're probably wondering, where's the button mashing sequence? Well, lucky for us, that wasn't the end of the level. We continue on and are greeted to another boss fight against Mr. Sumo. It's pretty simple, just move to the sides when he attacks and deal damage to him. Occasionally he will harden up and be invincible, but besides that, you have nothing to really worry about. We then beat him and are treated to a long-awaited button mashing sequence, where I again get a D rank. We then save Sapphire, the granddaughter of Suzuki, who was sent here to help us. She gives us some information about the jackals boss Loki and where he is. On the way there, we get passed by a train bearing the jackal insignia. So of course, our super ultra sexy hero Zan decides to fucking jump off his horse and run to the back of the train. Seriously, just what's the point of the horse at this point? We start level 4 on the back of the train. Our goal? To make it to the front of the train while making it through different carriages, all with their own unique challenge. First up, we're introduced to some yellow ninjas who pose no real challenge. Next up, we trip an alarm which prompts the carriage to explode in 15 seconds. We save all the prisoners before making a very narrow escape. Once arriving in the next carriage, we find a button on the ground that once activated will open the door out of here, as well as some lasers we must maneuver around. After making it through, I then realize I need to destroy a gate before I can access the door. So after another narrow escape, we move on to the next obstacle. We must now destroy 4 rectangular objects to then open the next door while avoiding the spike balls from hitting us. Once we make it past this, we then have another carriage that is rigged to explode. So we now have 12 seconds to save everyone and make it out. Next up, we then need to destroy some more rectangular objects to make it past. This time with a fucking flamethrower in the middle that we must avoid. Although after realizing I can just destroy the flamethrower, this part becomes just as easy as last time. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the next button mashing sequence. Fuck yeah, baby, here it is. Oh, that's not good. What? Why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Ah, this is so much! What? Oh, bro, I'm about to destroy the fucking controller in a second. Jesus Christ. That took the breath out of me. After that fucking struggle, we then proceed past the fan, where we are then met with a new enemy equipped with a cannon. Now, after realizing a cannonball to the face isn't the best idea, I decide to take him out. We're finally at the final carriage, the engine room, where we meet the greatest character to ever exist. What the fuck is that?
Who are you?
Oh my god.
It's the super ultra sexy hero, Zan.
This is my new favorite game now. What the fuck?
No idea what you are meddling with.
What is this game?
Out, my beloved creation.
After that legendary cutscene, we are then thrust into a boss fight. While it seems simple at first, the main gimmick for this boss is that it can regenerate its health using 2 charges on either side of the engine. Although after destroying both charges, we can then take care of the boss with ease. After the button mash annihilation, I receive my rank. And it's a fucking C, baby. That's right, I'm moving up in the world. And yes, this is as high as it will ever be. Trust me. After this, the engine's on fire and is about to explode. We talk with the little grey man, but he seems to escape with his fucking flying saucer. What? So, we end up shooting him down. After this, we make it off the train before it explodes, thus ending level 4. Now, level 5 gave me some trouble, but more on this later. We start off entering the gold mine as we are greeted by an angry blue ninja who is mad at us for destroying the train. He summons some red rums to try and take us out, but because we are just built different, they pose no threat to us. We wipe them out and move on to where we run into another guy wielding a cannon. Of course, because I'm such a nice guy, I decide to let him kill me, so I could, make him feel a bit better about himself. I then come back and put him in his place. After I put him through a good thrashing, he decides to concede and let us pass. But as the gate opens, we get greeted to Mr. Shogun's hand. The goon panics and decides to fight us again, but is annihilated by the hand. We then continue onwards. We enter a room of conveyor belts where there are ninjas working. They notice us and summon more enemies for me to put down. Now you don't actually have to kill the enemies, as the main goal is to just destroy the 3 control panels. After that, we are confronted by some blue ninjas as they try to take me out by using explosives and teleporting around me. While annoying, they are not difficult at all. After taking them out, we move on and meet another blue ninja guarding a gate. He throws bombs at me to stop me in my tracks, but conveniently he's next to a giant bomb. To defeat him, we need to shoot the bomb, which ignites it, panicking the ninja. He will then come out of cover so we can shoot him. Do this enough times, he ends up dying and the gate gets blown up. We move on, taking out even more blue ninjas in our way as we then make it to the button mash event. Oh, courtesy Mr. Shogun, it's a special fire cannon. It's hot, it's painful. Well, I'd imagine. You can't run, you can't hide. What you gonna do when it comes for you? Wait! Oh my god, 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 this is fucking tough, tough, tough! Go, 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 go! No! Oh my god, I am gonna break the controller! We then get to my least favorite part of the game, the minecart segment. We get shown the controls, and I want you to note that it doesn't mention that I can shoot, so for the majority of the segment, I didn't know I could shoot. And of course it's necessary. To start with, we mostly have to worry about jumping over fire. Partway through, we are greeted by some blue ninjas in their own carts as they start to throw explosives at me. Now even though I didn't know that you could shoot during this segment, it's not necessary as this part is short-lived and dodging the explosives are fairly easy. Well, after practicing of course. We die again, and it hits me that I have to do the whole level again from the start. It was here I actually thought about giving up, but as you'll see, I found my way around this, but not right away. I decided to try a few more times. I died at the minecart section again, then I found out the button mash events don't need to be succeeded to pass. What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? What the fuck? No! After all that, now I'm gonna go all the way back to the start. What? So it didn't matter, I just lost all my— oh, is that just for points, son? I then figured out that I can shoot during the minecart segment, and that helped me get to the first boss of the level, the demon train. But more on it later. I died and had to do the entire level all over again, and with my sanity slipping, I make it to the minecart again, but this time with the prior knowledge of being able to shoot and my not so secret tactic. So, first, I want to preface this by saying that while I enjoy this game a lot, I hate this minecart section paired with the fact that I don't have a checkpoint. And I fully admit that I don't have the patience or will to play this game having to repeat the entire level if I die, as every level onwards is pretty long, and the constant button mashing sequences don't help either. So, realizing I am playing this on an emulator, I used the save state feature to help me get through this game. Now I know that may disappoint a lot of people, and I apologize for choosing to do this. I know I could beat this game without it, but it would take far too much time and way more frustration than I'm willing to waste. I acknowledge that there are people who played this originally and had to deal with it, and I applaud those who have, but I don't have the will to do so. With that out of the way, let's continue on with the video. So I made my way through the minecart segment, and at the end of the segment we take on the first boss of the level, the demon train. This boss isn't that difficult, as we are stuck on a linear path and mainly must shoot it to deal damage. We first take out both its front rocket launchers, then we must deal damage to the train directly as it attempts to ram us. After taking out this boss, I am hit with the shocking reality that we now must face the main boss of this level, Mr. Shogun. The fight itself is fairly simple. We dodge his attacks and attack him when he has an opening. He can teleport, charge, shoot a ranged ground attack, and trigger an AoE attack against us. But as long as you don't get greedy and look out for his attacks, you'll beat him with ease. We finished the boss button mash event and are ranked with an E rank. Yeah, I know, I sucked at this level, okay? Before we end this level, we get confronted by Loki as he is shocked that we are still alive. He attempts to kill us by making the cave fall on us, but we make it out last second and finally make it to the castle, ending level 5. Finally, we made it out of the mine as we start the next level entering the castle. We are greeted by a few pink ninjas who are guarding the entrance. They attempt to kill me, although like most enemies in the game, they pose little threat. We move on and save a captured townsfolk from some scary straw dolls. Then, after saving him like the nice guy I am, I decide to move on. Here we face two annoying little shits that just can't stop spamming the same fucking attack over and over again. Seriously, fuck these little cunts. After my battle with those pricks, I move on to a gauntlet hallway, where we must defeat each set of enemies before the time limit ends. We start off with some straw dolls and dispatch them easily. Then I must take care of another little flying shit. After this I move on to fight the next enemy, a pink ninja. Although I run out of time and am forced to start the gauntlet all over again. I realize that I can easily shoot the flying enemies as I make a quick work of this lonely little cunt. I now make it to the pink ninja with plenty of time as I annihilate her, then move on to the end of this gauntlet, where I need to destroy a little fat axe guy. After the gauntlet we get a button mashing event. Bloody hell, let's go. No, through here, thank you. Oh! I love the soundtrack, it's good. Ah yes, green ninjas. The sacred bell, huh? No, I think I know how to ring it. Oh, all the buttons. I forgot where all the buttons were. Come on, all the buttons, all the buttons, all the buttons! Yeah, motherfucking fucked! Bitch! After this, we move on and enter a room where two ninjas are having fun playing with their flying foxes. But the teacher said it's my turn to play, so I shoot the shit out of them and hop on to continue forward. We make it to the boss of this level, the Geisha Queen. At least I think I'm saying that right, I don't really fucking know. She has a few attacks, including a laser attack that we must jump over, and a fire attack that she summons in front of her. But with the help of Hustle Time, we make quick work of her, and annihilate the bitch in a button mash sequence. We score ourselves a fucking D rank, ending level 6. We start off level 7 with a fucking button mash event, fending off some cunt's pet head as it rolls towards us. I don't really fucking understand, to be honest, but it is what it is. I've been ordered to eliminate you. Okay. Your death is near, attack my pet. What in the fuck is any of this? All button event? Are you serious? We're starting off with one of these? Holy shit. There's no way in hell you can do that normally. You have to mash every single button and fucking rake your fingers over everything for that. After that, we are then thrown right into a boss fight with some mechanical doll. She fights us with some straw dolls, which I ignore, as I attempt to dispose of her quickly, but at the end of this, she just teleports away to inform Mr. Gizmo of our arrival. We then do some platforming, something I honestly wish we had more of, but more on that later. After making our way to the next room, we are then forced to fight off some enemies with swords for arms. While they can knock you down pretty easily and move fairly fast, once you catch them with an attack, they become pretty easy pickings. We take them out and move on to a hallway with 2 rooms. I enter the left one first and must partake in some explosive baseball to fight a robotic cat. At first it was kind of tricky, but once I got used to it, it was pretty simple. Our goal is to hit the center to deal damage to the cat, but if we hit either side of it, it will damage some of the captured townsfolk. We take it out and move on to the room to the right. This room has us playing Whack the Weasel. We need to shoot the enemies that pop up while avoiding the captured townsfolk. We do this easily and move on to another boss fight against the doll. After getting annoyed at us, she morphs into her next mode. A giant head that shoots fucking fireballs. Yeah, I don't know, but it is what it is. This fight's fairly easy but pretty annoying, as we need to wait for the head to stop shooting at us just to attack. We beat her. And then continue because, that's right, this level isn't over yet. That's right, we have another boss fight left. But first, we must gamble. Well, kind of. Really, we just need to shoot at the right time to stop the symbols on the 3 7s. After that, we get to the final boss of the level. That's right, our favourite character is back and now in control of a similar robot that we fought back in the 4th level. The main gimmick here is that there are 4 missiles that will be shot at us throughout the fight. But we can just simply destroy the 4 missile launchers and make this fight a simple one-on-one. Now, whenever we try to hurt him, he blocks our attack, so the strategy is to just wait for his charge attack and strike after his charge attack. Or just before he decides to attack us. Eventually he will punch the floor and summon the fire beneath us to shoot up around the arena. We take him out and proceed with the button mashing event. We are rewarded with another D rank as we finish level 7. We are now on level 8, the second last level. Now this one's a bit different to the rest of the levels thus far. The main gimmick of this level is that it's a boss rush mode. Oh, what's that? You thought the last level had a lot of bosses? Well, get ready, cause this entire level is boss fights. Our first boss announces that it's Kabuki showtime, whatever that means, and we are then thrust into the fight. This first fight is fairly simple. We just need to dodge everything the boss throws at us while getting attacks in when it's safe. I prefer to shoot them, as I found it more safer than running up to them. We defeat them and make our way to the next challenge. But first, we get probably my favourite cutscene in this game. What should we do with this human? Burn him? Oh, no, now for bad. Hold it. That's right, bitch. It's not me, okay. I am super ultra sexy hero Zan. What? I just love saying that. That's not me. What a great Zan impression. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. Are they trying to cosplay me? Are they a fan of me now? The real Zan here. The true Zan here. This is hilarious, man. I love this game. So after we take out our number 1 fan, we start the next boss fight. This one was interesting. Its entire gimmick was alternating between sucking us in and blowing us away. Something I usually don't mind. If we get too close, it will hurt us, and if we get too far, we will run into the electricity that's all around us. While he blows and sucks us, about time we're getting sucked off, he also shoots some projectiles at us that we must dodge. We take him out and move on where we meet back up with the same Fat Axe twins from level 3. Honestly, nothing to really add here as they're the exact same as before. The next boss fight comes down and begins his attacks. This one's also fairly simple. He stays on one path as he shoots a giant laser at us that we can easily avoid, unless you're an idiot like me. I shoot at him until he dies, and then we continue onwards through the boss gauntlet. And it's also worth mentioning that yes, they do put health items in between boss fights. They also put a button mash sequence up next, and for the first time I feel bad for succeeding as we rule in the next boss's entrance. Mr. Gongoro's part. What? It's harder than usual. Ah, that's sick. Didn't know I was into that shit. Oh, here we go. Come on. Yeah, baby! Bitch, fuck that shit. I ruined his show, now I feel bad, dude. The holy kabuki. I feel so bad now that he's come out like, dude, you ruined my shit, dude. The fight's simple. All you need to do is avoid his attacks. But be careful, if he hits you, he will do a lot of damage. He also turns red, but I'm not actually sure what that does. I have no clue. I take him out and enter the final boss of the level. The final boss decides to tell us how to beat him. So, to deal damage to this boss, we need to break both drums on either side of him while avoiding his attacks. Not much to really say about this fight. It does go on for a while as the drums get replaced after a few swings at the boss, but as long as you watch out for his attacks, you should be fine. Just don't get too greedy while attacking him, because he will deal a lot of damage. I also want to remind you that if you die at any point, you will be forced to start level all over again. So everything I just talked about, yeah, you're going to have to do that all over again every time you die. And of course, the final boss is far harder than the rest, so any small mistake could send you right back to the start. Another reason I decided to use the MLA save states. We fuck up this little cunt maggot and get my first ever F rank. Yeah, I didn't know that rank was actually possible, so I guess I suck. Up next, we start the final level. We start the final level in some kind of spirit realm. Our first enemies are straw dolls, but this time, they're black. But they are just as easy. We move on up and instantly hit a giant difficulty curve. Honestly, at this point, it's not even a fucking curve, it's a whole ass 90-degree bend. We fight two enemies wielding swords, and for the life of me, I have no clue how to consecutively deal damage outside of hustle time. They have a pretty tight window to deal damage, and I don't really know what attacks leave them open for damage. Now, if you play this yourself and don't use save states, I really hope you take little to no damage in this fight, because now we move on to the hardest boss of the entire game. That's right, it's Loki, the man we have been after this entire time. The start of this fight shows 2 health bars, one for Loki and another for his pet bird. Honestly, I don't know what the bird does as I kill it as soon as possible. This leaves just our super ultra sexy hero Zan and Loki to fight it out. Loki is pretty fast at close quarter combat and will shoot out a ranged attack if we are too far. Despite this, hustle time makes quick work of him. But wait, you say, didn't you say this is the hardest boss in the game? Well, he is, just not in his first phase. That's right. After beating him, the little grey man appears again and talks to Loki about some shield. Don't worry, you're really not missing anything. This is the first time it's mentioned and they go into little detail about it. He armors up as we go for round 2. So in this phase he does a lot more damage and is a lot more faster. He fucks me up a lot. But just when I was about to die, I deal the final blow, killing him once and for all. With him defeated, that ends the game. Wait a minute, it doesn't, because there's another boss fight, with 2 more phases. Why, you ask? Because fuck you, that's why. We keep ascending, where we fight more black straw dolls. We then get to fight the final boss. The little grey man tells us this is his best creation yet. We enter the fight and I absolutely fucking annihilate this little cunt using hustle mode. We enter the button mashing event and throw the boss away like the trash it is. Jesus Christ. Aura! Please say that was the final boss, right? No. Of course not. But wait, there's more. Again? Then we need to fight it again. That's right, you get not 1 multi-phase boss fight this level, but 2 in a row. Pair this with the fact that if you die, you have to do the whole level again. Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Anyway, I die. And luckily, I have a save state before the first phase of this boss. This time I decide not to use hustle mode in the first phase, so I can use it in the second phase. But in all honesty, I found that not using it and being patient actually made it far easier. I beat the boss and was met with the final button mashing event as we beat the shit out of the final boss. I then get a fucking G rank? Fucking what? Since when do ranks go that low? So yeah, it confirms that I just really suck at the game. We enter a final cutscene where the castle blows up, and the townsfolk we saved are looking onwards as the jackal have now been defeated once and for all. We get blasted back into town and remind everyone that we are not Johnny. We are the super ultra sexy hero Zan, as we end the game. Before I give my review and an outro, I want to mention that there are rewards once you beat the game. You get more rewards based on how well your rank was throughout the game. I only unlocked hard mode and sapphire mode. Hard mode's pretty obvious, but what is sapphire mode, you ask? Well, it's a whole game where we go through as Sapphire, the woman we met in level 3. She has new animations and uses throwing stars instead of a gun. This actually adds a lot of replayability as it gives you a whole new ranking specifically for playing as her. So it definitely gives you something to work towards if you care about completion. Pretty cool if I say so myself. Well, that was Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman, a game for the PlayStation 1. Now what do I think of the game, you ask? Well, let me tell you. The gameplay itself was really fun when you get used to it, but is very clearly held back by the PlayStation 1. Throughout the game, we are treated to some very fun music. I really loved it. The bosses are very unique in design, but most of them weren't really a challenge, although, to be honest, they're just nice to look at, so I don't really care. The story itself wasn't really at the forefront, as while we knew that we were doing a revenge mission and saving the town, but a lot of the stuff, such as the shield and the weird spirit realm at the end, don't really get explained, and it's really weird. Kinda makes me feel as if this game was rushed at the end and they didn't really get a chance to finish it. But regardless of that, the game is very good. I loved it and I thought it was really, really fun. I definitely recommend it, and I'd say if you have a chance to play it through emulation or somehow you have the original copy and have it on PlayStation 1, I say play it, it's fun. The one thing that really annoyed me though is that we just didn't have any checkpoints. So if we die to a boss and then have to go all the way back, early on it's okay, it's fine, but then when it happens to like the later levels where there's like 10 bosses a fucking level or something, it's like, yeah, it's a little annoying. Especially when the last one's usually the hardest, so you gotta go all the way back at the start, and yeah, you just gotta go through all the ones that just are a challenge. It's just kind of time consuming. Yeah, it's the game itself was more time consuming without its checkpoints, more so than difficult. Not once did I sit there, die, and then go back to the start of the level and say, oh no, I've gotta do all this because it's fucking hard, I hate it, oh my god, I hate it, it's hard. No, most of the time it was, oh my god, I don't have the time for that shit, I don't want to spend like 3 hours on one mission. But look, overall, I enjoyed the game. I loved it, I thought it was fun for what it was. Definitely has its downsides, but if you can get past that, it's a very fun game. Especially with all the replayability with Sapphire mode and all the other unlockables you can get. Really cool. But yeah, overall, that was my review of Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman. Before I let you guys go, you can skip this if you want. I just wanted to say thank you a lot for the massive support on the last video. That one got more views than I think it deserved, more likes than I think it deserved, and more watch time than I think it deserved. I really have a lot of fun making these videos, and I do enjoy it. And I know this one probably won't do as well, but regardless, it's all about doing the video for fun and as a hobby, rather than, you know, just doing it as a job, which is why I think I can keep doing this without being too worried about how it gets, you know, viewed, how many views it gets and how many likes and all that stuff. So I'm going to be doing these type of videos a lot more. I think this is going to be the main point of my channel now. I'll still do full playthroughs of horror games at least, but like when it comes to these games that aren't really horror based, I'll probably, you know, just do what I'm doing with this, like a full video based on the game. I have a few games in mind that I'm going to do next. Don't know exactly what game's going to be next, but I have a few in mind, so hopefully next month you'll get to see that. I'm going to try and do, you know, I'm hoping for 2 videos a month now on, but realistically I think it's better to expect 1 video a month, especially with a lot of these games are going to be a lot longer. So I've got to find my way around that. It's going to be a bit of a difficulty curve to have 20 hours of fucking footage and only use like half an hour of it. Not even half an hour, just, oh god, it's going to be a lot. But yeah, I wanted these videos to be kind of between the half an hour to 1 hour mark, and easily it's going under an hour, so I'm much happier with that. But yeah, as for what comes next, I'm not really too sure. I do have another series I want to do, which is going to be in the same style as this, but it's going to have like a whole other reason behind it. Instead of checking out new games that I haven't played before that seem interesting, it's going to be more of a personal take on this. So it's going to be a lot more of a personal pick of games. Don't know when I'm going to start doing that. I don't know if that will happen in the background as I do these videos each month or what, but yeah, overall, I'm going to try and get a video out a month, and yeah, I hope I find some people out there that enjoy watching these and look forward to them. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video I make. Bye.